not a huge shocker, but potential list of games that might come out on the N64 Mini has been released.
Yeah, so from what I understand in the past, Nintendo started to upload manuals for games that wound up on the NES Mini and the SNES Mini. So...
Just say Super NES, Messi.
Super Nintendo.
God damn it.
So, probably about a month or two ago at this point, they uploaded a bunch of manuals. And it's for about 20-some games, I want to say. And everyone's going, oh shit, this might be the N64 Mini.
It's reaching, but it's very plausible. It's not like a lot of conspiracies that are like putting dots where they don't exist. And looking at this list of games, you have all the major ones, Donkey Kong 64, Kirby 64, Mario Kart, Mario Party 2, Mario Golf, Tennis, Super Mario 64, Star Fox 64, The Legend of Zelda's both games, Yoshi's Story. I mean, you have kind of what you would expect from Nintendo for these mini systems, that they've kind of went down a path already of like doing this style of games.
Yeah, and it's a good list of games that you can do without having the rare titles. Now, Donkey Kong 64 is one, but it's, Donkey Kong, so Nintendo has that IP as well. So the big, what do you call it? Like how the Super NES Mini had Earthbound on it, this has Sin and Punishment, which was only released in Japan. So if they localize it, even though it was already pretty much in English, that'd be pretty cool.
They also, interesting, I didn't see on here, is Smash Brothers.
That's a good point. Yeah, it isn't on here.
So, it doesn't mean, remember, we've only said, how many games came out on the NES? Was it 30?
The NES had 30 and the Super NES had 20-some.
Okay. So, I can't imagine they're going to have many more than this.
Now, from what I... Oops, sorry.
Yeah, maybe they feel that's a game that they know the best version really is GameCube or future, whereas Mario Kart 64 still arguably gets played, I don't want to say just as much as the latest Mario Kart, but it's probably still the best remembered.
Well, actually, it's funny with Mario Kart 64 because people either say it's the best or the worst one. There's no happy in between.
I think, but I've never heard anyone trying to
It's still huge in the what do you call it? What the hell do you call that thing? When people speedrunners in that community.
I don't know. I kind of think though I've never heard anyone try to make the argument that Super Mario Kart is better than that.
Yeah, some kind of do.
I don't know, but looking at this list once again, and we'll post a link below. Is there anything? Actually, I'm trying to think. You already touched on. Rare games. Why would you do that when Rare has that?
Well, they can't do it anyway because Microsoft owns Rare now.
Oh yeah, so you probably wouldn't want to add those Castlevania games. They were a bit rough.
No.
What else would you have?
They want to put the money out for the wrestling game licenses again. No. That wouldn't happen. It is weird not seeing Smash on here. And another thing to keep in mind is talking to a bunch of tech people. The hardware for the Super NES and the NES Mini, it's the same board, but apparently that wouldn't play well with the kind of emulators or the ROM files, basically, for N64 games. So this list, like we said, definitely not a definitive list. It's a cool list. It's a list of a lot of potential, but, I'd be surprised, because if the Super NES Mini only had 20-some games, why would the N64 Mini have the same amount of games when it's a lot bigger games?
Yeah.
A lot harder to do.
I don't know. I think, though, still, if they do release this...
I think these are all ripoffs anyway, but...
Yeah, But for... It's funny, because the Super NES and the NES Minis made sense to me. Most 16-bit retro games, it makes sense to do collaborate. Yeah, N64 is still... It's obviously old now.
It's one of the ones that, at least on modern TVs, is aged worse.
Oh, for sure. Me and you talked about this many times.
Yeah.
You either need to get the old TV or upscale it somehow. It does not look very good.
Or buy the $300 HDMI kit for it.
So that would be the biggest appeal, that you do that. But then, once again, you just go back to the thing of, could you turn around, kind of jailbreak this, and play other N64 games, at least have them upscaled for you.
Right.
That would be the biggest appeal for me. But we'll see if this comes to light or not. It'll be interesting. So let us know what you think below and what games you think should be on the list. Just make sure you check the link below before you comment a game that's already on there.